This is Santino Marella, and you're watching Count It Out with Mike and Tyler.
Well, we are live, pals, and welcome to a very special beginning to Count It Out with Mike and Tyler. I am not with Mike, though. I am Tyler, and we are still Bill Apter sealed of approved, but we've upgraded. We've got a much more handsome co-host here today. We've got, I think, maybe a tag team specialist, if you will. One half of the Barrie Wrestling 400 North Tag Team Champions, one half of the Crossbody Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions, and the man who has taken Brantford by storm, the Brantford Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. Whew, let me take an exhale and welcome Pretty Ricky Willdy to the show. Ricky, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me. That was one of the best introductions I've had in my lifetime. Thank you for that. The details to a pinpoint, my friend. Thank you. And thank you for having me here.
Well, we love having you here. This is the second time on here with us. And the first time we had you on, we were talking about an event. We were talking about the Arthur Caulfield Memorial event. I had the pleasure to attend that. It was just phenomenal. You guys all did a great job with that.
Everyone helps.
Yes.
Yourself as well. A lot of support there. It was great. It meant a lot.
And it's great to see the love and the community come together for stuff like that. And you're back at it again here. We are talking about Saturday, June the 10th, one day after my birthday, by the way.
Mazel tov. Happy birthday.
Thank you. And we're going to be in
27.
I wish.
All right.
I wish. How about 39?
Oh,
jeez. The salt and pepper is real. We're talking about Dropkick for Devins on Saturday, June the 10th. I'd love to just start off. If you could just tell us a little bit about your involvement with this event, how it all came to be, a little bit of backstory on the whole event.
Shortest way I can say through this, my brother's best friend, Devin, incurred a very serious injury through an accident in January of this year. And while there's ramifications beyond my control and all those kind of things, there are bills to be paid in the immediate now. So his friends came together for a GoFundMe, and that covered for so long, but he is still very much recovering. So we are putting on the show to try and raise more funds because we need to raise more money from the same people, but I don't want to be impinging on their generosity at the moment. The main idea would be to try as much as we can to raise support for Devin in this moment. Devin was also the biggest wrestling fan, as well as probably my biggest supporter throughout Brantford. So Devin means a lot to me, and we're trying to pull the community together to make a little bit of money to make his bill go away for a little bit of time.
Well, that's great to hear, man. And, coming off of the success, like we mentioned, of the last one here, now you're a little bit more seasoned when it comes to running stuff like this. Have you had a lot of help from other promoters? Anybody giving you any advice on some situations, on how to handle things? It's a whole different ballgame running an event than just showing up and being the most entertaining guy on the event, right?
Well, absolutely. I can agree to that. Without a doubt, I've had a lot of support, help from a tremendous amount of people. No man is an island, as they say. But yeah, promoters have had different reactions. Certainly, Sean Gibson here in Barrie has been so accommodating, so helping. Just trying to assist me as much as he can throughout this new transition, this new role. He's been a very big help, which is nice to see because the generic wrestling promoter is such a vindictive bad guy. Sean's such a nice guy. He's just trying to help,
even if he is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Well, I mean, to each their own.
We don't hold it against.
To each their own.
I do. Great actress.
She's not my favorite actress, but to each their own.
That's fair. I see what you're doing.
Thank you.
I see what you're doing there. I'm a little older. It takes me a little bit of time to get some of this.
Call it sleeper. You're gonna hate me for a week.
One thing I really love that you got going on here is you've really got the community of Brantford involved, and not only just this event, but just with wrestling in general. Mm-hmm. How important is that for you? We've seen you at City Hall doing stuff. Like, how important is that for you to get the whole community involved with professional wrestling again?
Let me promise you, this was not not the intention necessarily. It's a matter of it needed to happen. So I had to go to City Hall. This event couldn't have been done without their support, their help. So City Hall, the mayor of Brantford have all been very accommodating and as well helpful throughout this entire thing, being a part of the team in that way. Then there's been, multiple community events that we popped up at, but it's, all these events mean something to me in the first place. Beyond that, it's how else would I promote? You know what I mean? I want to show that we have a community event going on here. How else would where else would I show it to them? So I don't know. I could I could go to the train yards and put it down there, but it seems like the community events make more sense. So I don't know. I'm trying to get a diverse crowd. We're trying to go all over the place. I like to think of myself as the publicity arm of the team here. So yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to get the word out as much as possible.
Well, I will say that Brantford definitely has a very rich history of professional wrestling,
Yes.
if you're well aware of, and just seeing what you're doing now, you're adding to that legacy. And the admiration and the respect that you're getting shown back is something that I love to see for you.
Yes.
So I wish you guys continued success up there, and one day I'm gonna have to get myself up to Brantford and check out the CM Punk of Brantford, if we will.
Absolutely, you are always welcome in Brantford for me. Yeah, I don't know. The amount of love and support that I've gotten from Brantford has been overwhelming, surprising. It was something that I would have assumed that I would have had to have hidden my entire life, and then you get to come to Brantford and get that kind of reaction. It's it's something that I will not take for granted.
Now I've been following on what you guys got going on there. Is it true VIP tickets have sold out? Is that correct?
VIP tables have sold out entirely. We have other packages and tiers for tickets, but yeah, our VIP tables have sold out entirely, which was same idea. Didn't expect that at least that quickly, and it happened almost immediately. So we were overwhelmed by the people's energy and generosity.
I love hearing that. And
Yeah.
let's talk about the card, Ricky.
Please.
Are you feeling okay? You are voluntarily getting inside of a steel cage.
Listen,
with John Green.
I'm gonna be honest here. Here's the
What's going on
situation.
here, man?
Here's the situation. All right. I got beat up about a year ago. I won the championship in Brantford, heavyweight title, Brantford heavyweight champion. The mayor crowned and christened me that on the day last year. And on that day, I got sneak attack, beat up, bewildered. So I said that I wanted that guy in a match, and I wanted it in a steel cage. I promised my city the next time that I wrestled, it would be inside of a steel cage. And then that guy retired. And what am I to do? Break a promise to my entire city?
Can't.
To myself. So I had to get a cage. And then the mayor, city council, sponsors, Outlaw Scott Chase, worked as a team at a council and decision and came to John Greed as the man who, if I'm going to put this title on the line, I can't do it up against nothing, a no challenge. I have to have a challenge. So John Greed fits the bill, and I will do everything that I can to try and overcome John Greed.
Well, I hope after June 10th that we continue to see you up here in Barrie, because that is no small matter to take on, my friend.
I agree. I agree.
Really quickly here before we start to bring it home. I know that everyone's running around crazy as we're here at Barrie Wrestling right now. Let's give a hard sell. What's going on? Who else is coming on the show? I saw Casey Spinelli is there. Like, tell the people what they can expect to see.
We got international superstars from Kurdistan. The monster Karu is coming in. He's going to be taking on AEW recent debut. He had a full tour time with the Nightmare Factory in Atlanta. He won Jacques Rougeau's Loot Academy the first round. We're talking about Matt Black here. He was on AEW when they first came to Toronto. He will be taking on the Monster Karu in a big old matchup. We're very excited about that. Casey Spinelli, who has been on AEW, Raw, as well as Impact in the recent months. So this is a superstar. We got her coming in, and we got at least one competitor, but we might have another one lined up for her. So I don't want to say who she's wrestling just yet. But yeah, Casey Spinelli, we will be there. We have Bradford Montague, personal favorite, coming in from PEI, and he's going to be taking on Stratos, who we were able to sign in, which is just two guys who are willing to make a shine here. They're two underrated talents who are willing to make a statement, and here's the perfect platform for them. And then, of course, in that main event, we have the steel cage where I will be taking on John Greed for the Brantford Heavyweight Championship.
Fans, this sounds like a hell of an event here. Ricky, I want to have you come back on one point because the last time we had you on the show, you expressed your love to me for 1991 WWF.
Yes.
So our gimmick on our show is we do a top 7 countdown.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk to you a little bit off air.
Mhm.
We're going to come up with a list idea.
For sure.
We're going to talk some 1991 WWF wrestling.
Let's go.
However, before we let you go today, there's 2 other things I want to do here. Number one, is there anywhere that anyone that can't make the show can leave a donation or help contribute in any way?
We got a t-shirt viral portal. I think it's virtual portal. I don't know. That's going to be hitting the ground on Monday. You know what? Don't put a day on it. Put a number on it. May 15th, I believe that's going to be hitting the internet. So pay attention to Brantford Wrestling, Pro Wildy for all that information. But that will be coming down the pipeline. And then beyond that, we have tickets and live stream. And I would love to say that we're going to be putting it out there on IWTV Fight Network. But to be honest, I'm not really looking for that international money here. You know, in my head, the real fundraising dollars and cents comes down to we got to do it all in house. So if you want to see this, you gotta be there.
I love that.
And tickets are moving, so I'm very excited about it.
Now, will there be raffles and stuff at the event?
Absolutely.
Well?
We've already had some donations for raffle prizes, including a signed Dude Love action figure that was Classic Superstars Series 2, which is quite a rare figure, and a signature on there. We got a signed Kurt Angle, we got a signed Miro, we got a signed Big Daddy Cool Diesel. So we got some wrestling memorabilia as well as some Brantford memorabilia and some tickets and prizes beyond. So we're very excited to be bringing a full-time entertainment spectacle, not just a wrestling show, as you know.
Then before I let you go, Ricky, I would also like to contribute as well.
Oh, come on.
We have a signed Trish Stratus magazine here.
Jeez.
That we would like to
come on,
lend to the process.
Thank you so much. That's so greatly appreciated.
So that's our contribution to try to help you out. We love what you're doing, man. Keep up the great stuff. Been a pleasure, Ricky.
You're gonna make me cry.
No,
Come on.
That's our. We want to help you out.
Thank you so
love
much,
everything
man.
you're doing. You've been great for not only your community but the entire wrestling community. We have the utmost respect for you. You've been entertaining the hell of us. Next time you come on, we're going to talk about that Wild Rover match because, my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. But in the meantime, check it out. June the 10th, Dropkick for Devin. It's going to be amazing. Ricky may die in the ring. Steel cage match against John Greed. On behalf of Pretty Ricky, Trish Stratus, and Brantford Wrestling, you guys have all been counted out. Well, big thanks to Pretty Ricky Willdy, who jumped on talking a little bit of Dropkicks for Devin. Very, very happy to be a part of that, helping him promote that show. Mike and I donated that gift, as you saw there, the signed Trish Stratus magazine. So show up to the show, try to win it. The t-shirt is available that he talked about in it as well. So go look up Brantford Wrestling. It is all over there. If Pretty Ricky's putting his name on it, it's going to be fantastic. And let's see if he's alive after the show, because he has got to fight John Greed in a steel cage match. I do not envy that task for him.
John, I don't want to wrestle John Greed. Fuck a steel cage. Jesus Christ. I do think for charity, I guess, Ricky?
Yeah, no
My
kidding.
God.
No kidding. But yeah, big thanks again to Ricky. We will be seeing Ricky June the 10th in Barrie Wrestling, which is going to be fantastic. Hopefully you're making it up. We're still figuring all that out, but
still figuring that out.
But,
I should be there.
What a card it was. I had a chance actually to go check out some independent wrestling this weekend that just passed. My new life, I can go do stuff now. It's weird. And I just so happened to jump into the car, drive down to the Danforth, and I watched the Northern Crown Wrestling, I believe it was called.
I believe so, yeah.
The gentleman from Shooting the Indies put it on with a couple other people. Shane Saber was involved with it as well. I saw two of the best live matches I've seen all year, maybe even on the independent scene in general. You have to excuse me. I can't remember the one guy's name. He fought Tarek. He's always in MLW.
Calvin. Oh,
something Mac.
No, wasn't it? That was Calvin. Fucking.
I got it right here. Tank Man.
Thank you, Calvin Tank.
Yeah, man. I've never seen him before. I've seen him one time in MLW. And
Yeah.
holy shit, I don't think I've ever seen a harder hitting match than him and Tarek. And then, of course, the main event was Rocky Azuka Romero, who I have been a long time fan of, going up against Ontario's finest, Gabriel Fuerza. What a match. I was so proud. Not that I'm incredibly close with Fuerza by any means. I'm not going to pretend that I am, but we're friendly with each other, and he's always incredibly nice to us at the show. I've been very honored to share a ring with him and do an angle with him, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
I just think the world of this guy.
I am very close with Fuerza, only because I am huge in Mexico.
Oh God.
As you know,
Oh God.
I'm like a hero to those people. Counted Out was like the biggest publication there in 2021. So Fuerza, that's why we're so big and Barry. Fuerza begged for us to be there because he's a big fan of mine.
The views and opinions by Hard Mike are those of Hard Mike and only Hard Mike. By the way, welcome to the show, buddy. I didn't even say hello to you. Bud. Yeah. It's kind of weird not doing our normal intro there with we opened the show with Ricky there, but I just wanted to say though, Fuerza has been just such a great guy to me and to us, and very welcoming. He's welcomed us into this community, and I was just so proud of him watching him with Romero. And not only did he look like he belonged in there with Romero, he more than held his own in there. Yeah. Like if you would have put that match on a New Japan Strong card, you wouldn't even think twice about it. This guy is somehow getting better and better, and the aura and the presence that he has is just, it's incredible. Listen, even my family saw him wrestle, and they're not wrestling fans, and they all left Barry Wrestling saying like that guy was something special.
Listen, I'm less than surprised. This does nothing to surprise me.
Yes,
because you and I sat at ringside and watched Fuerza and Von Vertigo go up against one of, if not my favorite tag team of all time in the Motor City Machine Guns. And we both looked at each other and said, holy fuck, they belong there. There was no feeling of this big time wrestling tag team up against these indie guys. No, they hung, man. They hung with the Motor City Machine Guns for the whole fucking match. They looked like belonged in the ring with the Motor City Machine Guns. So for you to tell me in a singles match that Gabriel looks like he belonged there with Rocky fucking Romero, yeah, I'm not shocked, man. I'm not. There are maybe a few discriminatory things keeping Fuerza from getting signed to any major promotion, and I'll tell you what the number one thing keeping him away from those are. Idiocy. Yes. Anybody not signing this motherfucker is stupid.
I agree.
That's all I'm putting out there. Now, with that said, I'm not putting that in the universe because I don't want him to go anywhere. I want to selfishly, I want to be able to go and see him anywhere, anytime, any place, anytime I want to. But non-selfishly, that man deserves to be on the big stage, be it Impact Wrestling, be it AEW, be it WWE. He deserves to be in the spotlight because he's that fucking good.
Yeah, I could not agree more. And the views and opinions based by Hard Mike, I back up 100% on that one. So
I've never said that before.
Well, I mean, you don't always say smart things, but that was probably one of the smartest things you've ever said. Also, it was great to hang out with you on the weekend too. We adulted together.
I was going to bring that up. I want to thank you personally, as well as many other friends of mine. This past weekend, as we record, was my little girl's first birthday, which was a big deal for me because she's my first daughter, my second child, but my first daughter, but also my last child. And my third child, but my last child. I did go get the snippety snip a few months ago. So this is my last first birthday party. So it was very special, very emotional for me. I had a great time. And I was very happy that yourself and some of my closest friends could be there to celebrate that day. Because let's be honest, man, that shit's not for the 1-year-old. She doesn't know. She had a good time, but she's not gonna remember that shit. I'm gonna remember that shit. I'm gonna remember that day for the rest of my life. That my closest friends were there to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the birth of my beautiful fucking daughter. So
yeah, that was a fast year too, man.
Oh, was it ever?
That year, like I feel like we were just talking about finding coverage for you for the show and taking a break from Barrie. Like, I feel like that just happened, and it's been a year. Like, it's been a year since you've been up to Barrie. That's crazy.
By the time I get back to Barrie, I'll have missed 13 shows.
That's insane to me. A lot's happened. You gotta get up there.
Yeah, it's nuts.
We miss you up there, man.
I miss it. So hopefully I get up there soon.
Yeah, and you're not gonna recognize it. The place is packed all the time now.
That's amazing. I love to hear that, and I can't wait to see it. Now, one more thing on a personal note before we really start talking about professional wrestling and get into some comedy wrestling, which I'm really looking forward to talking about here today. Great list. I'm glad you decided to do this list. This is a list long overdue.
Well, I figured it was fitting because, like,
of course, because
Pretty Ricky is
Ricky's one of the funniest guys we know. Yeah, 100%.
So I thought it was fitting.
But on a personal note, this has nothing to do with wrestling. I just want to throw this in because I like to support people who do what we do. Okay, and I don't mean wrestling podcasts. People who are trying to reach their dreams. People who are working hard to get to create something like we are with this show. I have a cook at my restaurant. I'm not going to name him or my restaurant, but I'm just going to say that he started this band called Bilious. It's a punk band out of Newmarket, Ontario, and they just finished recording their first album, and I'm really proud of this guy because I've seen this guy come up in the restaurant business. I know how much he loves it and hates it to the same degree, and that's how most kitchen guys are. I was a kitchen guy for 20 fucking years. So I know how much you can hate that fucking job. And that's what this song we're about to play is all about. This song is called Kitchen Guy, and it goes out to everybody who works in the food industry business. And it goes out to anybody that's really reaching out for their fucking dreams and trying to make shit happen for themselves. I'm really proud of this guy. I'll say his name. His name's Andrew. I'm really proud of Andrew for not only getting this band off the ground, but in the same vein, he's doing interviews in the punk community. He's doing photography in the punk community and really getting a punk community started in the York and GTA areas. It's very cool to see he's behind it all. I'm very proud of all the hustle he's been doing because I feel like it mirrors what we've been doing with Count It Out for the last 3 years. So when I see somebody doing what we're doing, I like to support that shit. So I'm gonna grab that first single off their upcoming album. I'm gonna throw it right here on the show. So with no further ado, this is the band Bilious with the song Kitchen Guy.
This shit, I don't wanna be here. Rather be up front, having some cheap beer, picked up a double, never see the light. Go find dish boy, start a fight. Dirty talk at 6 o'clock can suck a big back cock. Today Josh smells like a dirty fucking mop. Coffee and cigarettes give me the shits. Cocaine and monsters keep my wits. Telling you boys, this life is the fucking it. I didn't choose this life and I don't know why, but when I cut onions I just don't cry. Burgers I'll flip, fish I'll fry. It is I, your local kitchen guy. Open, can't keep my eyes open. Frozen chicken, frozen fish. Get a new job, I fucking wish. Burned and tired, confused and dazed. I guess it's just one of those days. 86 ribs, 86 steak, 86 meat for a soup fucking late. Coffee and cigarettes gave me the shits. Cocaine and monsters keep my wits. I'm telling you boys, this life is the fucking hits. I didn't choose this life and I don't know why, but when I cut onions I just don't cry. Burgers I'll flip, fish I'll fry, it is high. I'm your local kitchen guy.
That's fun shit. I don't know if I don't know how big of a punk fan you are, bud, but that's fun stuff.
I am actually a very big punk guy. I my early 20s, I was really big into punk, not just like the Blink-182 stuff that everybody likes, but I was into like Taking Back Sunday, Story of the Year, Matchbook Romance, Rise Against, like a little more of the mainstreamy stuff, but I had some deep cuts. Thursday was really good. Like, yeah, we all went through our little phase there, brand new. Like, yeah, I like me some good old punk music, and I'm really proud of your boy there too. And hey, man, rock and wrestling is still a thing. Maybe there's a collaboration in the future, right?
Exactly.
That's cool, man.
Right.
That's cool. Lots of wrestling happened in the world. We will talk about some of it because you have not watched any of it. I have only watched some of it as well.
This has been one of the most busiest weeks of my life. And it happened to be one of the most busiest weekends in wrestling. There was all three major promotions had a show this. Well, did GCW have anything this weekend?
Probably. They run every fucking weekend.
I think they had something on Thursday. I think they did. So there were shows Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from all four major fucking promotions. And I didn't watch any of it. None of it. Nothing. I got to see absolutely nothing. I'm 3 weeks behind on Impact. I'm keeping up on WWE and AEW spoilers. I read them, but that's it. I am not keeping up on Impact spoilers because I will go back and watch everything. So I am very behind on Impact. But other than that, man, this has not been a wrestling month for me.
Well, I won't say too much about Impact, especially because I don't want to spoil anything for you. All I will say is that the main event between PCO and Steve Macklin was, I don't have words to describe it. It made me feel every kind of emotion possible, from excitement to uncomfortableness to fear to oh my god to like Steve Macklin channeled his inner Eddie Guerrero at Judgment Day, and PCO, I don't think he is human.
It's not, baby.
That's all I will say.
Okay.
I've heard great reviews from the show, and from what I watched, it was fantastic. So we'll move on from there. I have not got to watch any of the WWE Saudi show yet.
Neither have I, but I am going to check out some of it because some of it's very interesting to me.
Yeah, I'm interested to watch the Seth Rollins match, and I'm interested to watch the Brock and Cody match, and I'll skim through the rest of it. Trish and Becky, I wouldn't mind checking out as well. Because I'm impressed by Trish, and I like that little program they got going. And AEW ran their show. It was okay from what I watched. I watched the Four Pillars 4-way match. It was actually very good, I will say. I skimmed through the rest of the show because I've been a little bit off the AEW as well. It does look like, though, that they have been teasing that the debut of Kota Ibushi could be very soon after the finish of the main event, which would be very cool. I could see them maybe setting up the War Games match, Blood and Guts, I think they call it, between Blackpool Combat Club and I can't remember the guy's name that turned on.
Okay, sorry, you brought up Blackpool, so I want to just ask, what the fuck was up with that band with the blackface shit?
I don't know who they are. I don't know. It wasn't blackface, so it was paint. Like, he had red on his face too. Like, he didn't go blackface. He was just It looked like it might have even been a mask, in all honesty.
Okay.
But yeah, because
really, really weird.
Well, and yeah, that's the gimmick too. Like, for the Anarchy and Asylum match last year, they just kept playing Wild Thing on a loop. And it was incredible. It was awesome last year, but it wasn't live. It was like just the song. And like the crowd was going nuts, the brawling in the crowd. And then Jericho got a great heat spot where he like smash Moxley into the sound system to end the music because the crowd was really like into the song the whole time, right?
Yeah, but that was last year. That made sense last year.
Yeah.
You and I discussed this briefly off air. I think you agree with me when I say that they should have scrapped Wild Thing when Mox turned heel.
Yeah, and you could kind of say the same thing. It's weird because like it kind of works for Jericho, like Judas as a heel because he's very smug about it. Like
Yes, yeah, but that's not Mox's character.
no,
You know?
but with Moxley it's a little bit different, and I don't think Wild Thing fits the Blackpool Combat Club as a heel.
Absolutely not.
And they tried to do the same spot this time though. The band was not. I didn't find them to be very good, whoever they were. Live, and they just played the song probably 5 times in a row, and it like I guess there was your heel heat because it wasn't very good.
Okay.
But and then the Young Bucks super kicked them, which that was a fun little spot or whatever. But
sure,
you give a shit that CM Punk's coming back?
I don't. I'm a little interested because who did I hear? It might be him and Joe.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Like listen. I'm not so fucking frozen from the waist down that I'm not at least interested a little bit in Punk versus Joe. I don't give a lot of shits, but I give half a shit at least. I'm more interested. It takes a lot to get me interested in AEW these days, like a fucking lot. But I am interested in the idea of going out to fucking Wembley and having Dragon versus Nigel fucking McGuinness.
That's the direction it looks like we're heading as well. Dragon teasing that heavily in his press conference after.
That's one thing that might sell a ticket for me.
I'm so hit and miss on it. Like it's like on one hand, it's like I just have such fond memories of Punk and Joe and of Nigel and Dragon. That was 20 years ago almost. Do we just like, should we just let it be and move on, or like does it hurt the legacy dollars? Does it put a nice like bow tie on it?
Nostalgia sells, especially in AEW right now because nothing else is fucking working. So give a shit like that, especially if you're going to Wembley. People want nostalgia. People want that old school feeling from Wembley. So
I like Nigel getting that send off as well in Wembley.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. It's so weird though, because like AEW to me is incredibly weird right now because like they sell 65,000 tickets at Wembley Stadium. They've sold 700 in Hamilton.
Yeah, I know.
Like
I know.
They're not. This new Collision show is not drawing at all.
Nope.
Only except for Punk's debut one. That's it. I don't know if maybe Punk coming back will push tickets a little bit.
Because Chicago always sells though.
Well, but it wasn't until like they pretty much they haven't said Punk's coming back, but everybody knows he's coming back again. So
Chicago's always been a hot market.
Yeah, they burned it out though.
Fucking right, they did. I'll tell you one match. If it's me, if I'm booking for Wembley though, because I said I'm a big this is a show I think you want to hit all your nostalgia marks, right? You're not going to be able to get a lot of heart connection here. You're not. Brett won't be there. Okay, let's make our peace with that. Brett
he's signed under a Legends deal, isn't he?
Yes, he is. So there's not going to be a whole lot of a heart connection. So here's what I do just to get that little bit of taste of that little bit of homage to Brett versus Bulldog. I do Dax versus Cash.
Again?
Yeah. In Wembley, but have them kind of pay homage to that Bulldog Brett match.
Yeah, because they did it to Bulldog or Brett and Owen, right? When they had their other match.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that the big match though at Wembley is Punk and FTR against Kenny and the Bucks.
I'm not saying this should be the main event. I'm just saying
no, but I mean if you do that match and you lose out in the 6-man that everybody wants.
Oh, yeah, sure, I guess.
Right? That's I think that's where they're building, and that is honestly where the money match is between Punk and the Elite, right? Like you've got to make an angle out of this bullshit.
I mean, I would say put your mid-card title in the main event spot because of the Wembley connection, and the last time WWE did Wembley was Intercontinental. But what's their fucking mid-card title? Well, like, what is it? The TBS title, a TNT title? Which
TNT,
one?
which Steve Bourne
Okay.
calls the AEW
Uh,
24/7 title because it changes hands every week.
right,
Makes me
right.
pop.
There's absolutely no fucking legacy, lineage, or respect behind that title, so there's no point in doing something like that.
No, I agree. That title's a joke. I think you main event with the 6-man tag personally, and I think you do Sting and MJF for the title, career versus title.
Sure.
I'd say that's what a way to send Sting off, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I like
and
that.
if MJF is your guy and you want to build him, he's the guy that's going to get the most out of retiring Sting. He, as much as we, love him and hate him, and some weeks we think he's great, and some weeks we think he's indie heat, he will make the most out of retiring Sting.
I mean, you want to call him indie heat? He got himself some indie heat at that media scrum, and I got to give him props for it.
But he's making fun of everybody blading.
He hit all the right he hit all the right spots in that scrum, man. Making fun of everybody, blading, basically saying, "What the fuck are you guys doing? These fans don't give a shit about us." It's like you got to start being a character, not killing yourself. And what I like about MJF, and I'm hot and cold on MJF, you know this. Sometimes I'm saying, he's too much on the cheap heat. He's we've heard the same shit from him over and over again. It gets very stale for me.
He's like Family Guy. He tries to be shocking. He tries to be too shocking sometimes.
What I do like about him, though, is even when he's staying in character, there's that sliver of truth that this is how he feels. So when he was talking like that at the scrum, I'm like, I believed that. That wasn't a character. I think that was Max talking.
That's the sign of a great heel. Also, is that they truly all great heels believe they are the good guys.
And if you want heel heat, especially coming up into the June pay-per-view, you want to sit there and call New Japan a big indie company? Fuck me, that's some heel heat right there.
And it looks like he's gonna.
Good for you.
Looks like he's gonna take on a legend at New Japan. That's kind of what they were teasing. I don't know. Maybe Tanahashi would be a good name.
Didn't you say Ibushi's coming in?
Kota Ibushi, but he's going to be involved with the Blackpool Combat Club feud with the Elite, right? The Golden Elite.
Do you think they do MJF and Okada?
I don't know. I could see Liger too. I heard Liger's name is starting to be thrown around.
Really?
I've heard Liger. Yeah, I've heard that.
Okay. I thought Liger was pretty much done.
Oh, he retired like 2 years ago, but
that's what I thought. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, he did that whole tour, right?
Yeah. I've heard Liger's name mentioned a couple times, but
no, I don't
know.
like that. I say Okada, maybe you said Tanahashi, maybe Tanahashi.
I do Tanahashi because I don't see Okada losing, and I don't think MJF should be losing right now. And Tanahashi can eat an L.
What a fucking rub if he beats Okada, though.
Yeah. But do you think New Japan lets their top star come over and do a job? There's got to be some kind of politics in there, right?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, there is.
And to end the news on a happy note, Alexa Bliss has announced her pregnancy.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
And so did Taya Guevara, whatever her last name is, Sammy.
Taya Mello? Or
yeah, I know. Guevara, she's married to Sammy. Yeah.
No, I saw it. Yeah, I'm very happy for them. Very cool too, because this comes straight off her skin cancer scare.
Yeah.
She had that cancer scare a few weeks ago. So to have the stress of that and then go into this great news, I'm very happy for her. Very good.
Oh, I want to sidebar for a sec too. I just want to talk about that 4-pillar thing again. Because we're both big fans of Jungle Boy, right?
Yeah.
Man, they made him look like so unimportant at the beginning of that match. Because he just came out to a normal entrance, whoa, he did the song, it was great, people loved it. Then Darby Allin gets this video package and does his entrance on the skateboard through the crowd. Then Guevara comes out with the cue cards to announce that he's having a baby. And then MJF gets lowered from the ceiling. But it's like Jungle Boy just walked out normal with nothing. Like, it kind of just made him feel second fiddle to everybody else.
And if I'm not mistaken, MJF walked out victorious, right?
Yeah.
Okay. No, that sucks for Jungle Boy. I would have been okay if he took the W. I would have been like, okay, at least he got that. But
I don't know if it's his time yet. I think they missed the boat a little bit. I think last
Oh,
year,
yeah.
2 years ago, I think especially when well, it would have been a good time to pull the trigger on that when Kenny was the champ.
I think he spent way too much time with Christian. Way too much time with Christian.
I agree. Pardon me.
Right.
What do you think?
Stop.
You want to talk about some? You want to talk some
Stop.
funny business?
I don't want you to yawn anymore, brother. I want you to laugh.
I don't know if
Because
you're gonna
I've
be
got-
laughing at my list.
I don't know, man, because I've got my list here. And listen, from 7 to 3, we can argue all you want. That's cool. I don't give a shit. I won't yell at you too much. But 1 and 2, I've got my 1 and 2 fucking solidified, like hard down.
I've got my 1 down. I flip
and-
flop my 2 and 3 a few
Well,
times.
1 and 2, and here's the thing: 1 and 2 for me are interchangeable. As long as you're 1 and 2, match mine. Like if your number 1 is my number 2 and your number 2 is my number 1, whatever. I don't give a shit. But as long as those two names are the same, we'll be fine.
Well,
If
what's
they're
your
not, we're
criteria
gonna have a
going
fucking
into
problem.
this? Because I have a criteria going into this.
The number 1, they got to be funny. I mean, that's the reason for the season. They got to be funny. They got to make me laugh.
I'm not doing
Comedy? No, bullshit.
comedy.
You're doing comedy
wrestlers,
Comedy.
not funny
me-
people. So The Rock
no.
will not be on my list.
Sure, fine. He's not a comedy wrestler. Give me, but I just said they have to be funny.
Yeah.
You're telling me right now a comedy wrestler doesn't have to be funny?
No, I'm just saying they have to be. Their comedy has to transition into the ring.
Well,
That's
yes,
my.
but you didn't let me finish. You asked me my criteria. I said number 1 is they have to be funny. I obviously have more.
No,
That's not everything.
That's your only criteria. Does have to be funny.
You're a fucking piece of shit.
You are. Correct.
Yeah, it's not my fault you don't know. Like funny can bite you on the fucking taint and you wouldn't know it.
I'm hilarious.
You're not funny.
I am hilarious.
You're not a funny person.
I am. You're right. I am hilarious.
But like you said, that comedy has to go into the matches. But I want to see some good matches. Everybody on my list has good matches.
Not everybody on my list has good matches, but everybody on my list has entertaining and funny matches.
Everybody on my list has at least a handful of matches where I'm like, oh yeah, I love that match.
I feel like on my list that, and I don't know why, and I've done my research as best that I could, and I just feel like I'm missing a very obvious and huge name on my list. And I can't shake the feeling, and I don't know why. And I look at my list and I like it.
Well, let's do your list first, and then we'll do mine, and we'll see if anybody on my list is that missing element of yours.
All right, here we go. Number 7. We actually heard from the man at the beginning of our show, and I'm doing Puff and Pretty Ricky.
Okay. Yeah,
They have put on some of the most hilarious matches that I have ever watched, some of the most entertaining matches that I have ever watched. They're both fantastic in the ring. Between the Wild Rover match, the Christmas match, the karaoke stuff that they've done, the Rage Against the Machine stuff, these guys are absolutely hilarious. Their promos are hilarious, but they get it done in the ring. I'm going with some local indie love on my number 7 because honestly, I just think that they're funnier than a lot of other people that are professional.
And I've got local indie a lot in a bigger spot than this on my list, so I'm with you.
All right, well that's and if you guys haven't, if you want to see what we're talking about, and Bobby Orlando's another guy that's really entertaining on the local scene as well. But go to the Barry Wrestling YouTube page and find the Wild Rovers soccer match and find their Christmas death match. They are two of the funniest matches.
Go to IWTV, check out the Christmas show.
Well, both those matches are on their YouTube page if you don't have the IWTV.
Hey, I'm trying to make Barry some money here.
Well, I know, but sometimes we don't have money. My number 6 is a guy that I don't watch a whole lot of, but I see his clips and I love his style and I love the way he incorporates comedy into his act. And I'm going with I'm going to say this wrong. Toru Yano from New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Oh, I know nothing about this. Okay.
Yano's like, he's the hilarious guy. He's like, I don't know, I can't describe him, but he's like the Colt Cabana of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
He is hilarious. He's always doing stuff with like the turnbuckles or like being chicken shit and then like sneaking in and taking wins. His dialogue is very funny when he uses it. I'm just a big fan of what he does, but I don't see enough of it to give him a higher spot on my list. But Yano is definitely fucking hilarious, and I would recommend checking out some of his funny moments. Number 5.
It's number 5.
Number 5, we're going with the most hardcore person on this list, Screamin' Norman Smiley.
All right. I never even considered Norman Smiley for my list. But I'm definitely not going to argue with you, man. The Big Wiggle is one of the greatest things in the history of pro wrestling. His backyard wrestling shit that he did, like in the 98-99 era of WCW, when he was the backyard wrestling champion, that shit was gold.
The hardcore Screaming Norman, when he would get hit with a weapon and actually scream, like his pairing with Ralphus, I love everything about Screaming Norman Smiley. His matches were so entertaining, but his humor during those matches, like I could have put him in my top 3 and I would have been happy with it, but not quite for Screaming Norman. Number 4,
that's
you like that one?
Great, man.
I thought you were gonna like that one. Number 4, we're going a little old school, and we're going with George the Animal Steel.
Okay. I'm kind of wishing he didn't make my list, and now I'm wishing he did. I wasn't sure if you counted George Steele as comedy, and I was so like torn. I didn't know if that counted or not, and I'm glad you put it because I love me some George Steele, man.
Well, George Steele, he started his career as a vicious heel. He had like the Kamala syndrome, right? Kamala was a vicious heel, and then he turned into a funny babyface. But George's babyface stuff was hilarious. The dancing that he would do, the way he would talk, the big green tongue, eating the turnbuckles, the therapy skit that he did. Have you ever seen that where they're giving the shock treatment?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, Brown. No. Yeah, man. George, and he's always biting people and just looking like an idiot. Like, love me some Georgie Animal Steel.
Okay. All right, man. I'm down for that. I definitely considered him. I just wasn't sure, but okay.
Well, by the time I was growing up too, he was comedy. I didn't see his scary heel stuff, right?
No.
That's what I came up with.
Right.
Mine, like his crush on Elizabeth. Like, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm still going back on my number 3 and my number 2 right now.
Is that where we're at? Your number 3?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. You missed a lot of people. Okay. Go ahead.
I'm gonna stick with my gut. My number 3 is Orange Cassidy.
Okay. Again, he falls into the category of so many other people that I'm like, at this point, is he comedy?
Oh,
because
yeah.
But I'm not sure anymore. On the indies, yeah, he was comedy, but he's taken so seriously now. Everyone have you seen
his stuff lately in
so
AEW?
Legit. He's so legit now that
he's mainstream now, but he's still doing the slow motion kicks. He's still doing the hand in the pockets. He's got a banger of a theme music now. But even his promo stuff is hilarious. Like, people are in the back and they're trying to call him out for a title match for that Mid-Atlantic title or whatever the fuck it's called, whatever that Atlantic title is he has. Which, by the way, he's really having a great run with that title, a great string of matches.
Which is why I wasn't sure.
But he's still being hilarious about it. He carries it in a knapsack, which is hilarious. But anytime somebody tries to challenge him, they don't get to finish their sentence because he just immediately accepts their challenge. And then they're confused. They're like, what? Wait. He's like, yeah, sure. Okay. We'll fight.
Okay, but here's the thing. I'm loving him at your number 3. I am. I'm a little upset that you're even considering switching him with your number 2, though, because your number 2 and your number 1 have to be matching mine. They have to. If they're not, our fucking show is done. This is ridiculous to me. So for either of those 2 guys I'm thinking of right now to switch spots with Orange Cassidy is fucking ludicrous to me.
Well, I'll tell you why I was going back and forth on it. It's because he does such a great job of intertwining comedy spots into banger matches.
Right.
Right? Like he knows when it's time to do the funny kicks. And then he also knows when it's time to kick it into high gear. But even when it's in high gear, he still does these little things that get the crowd laughing. And he's in the middle of these classic matches. And to me, that's what the definition of what a great comedy wrestler is like incredible in the ring, having incredible matches, and still utilizing the comedy in it.
Okay.
And that's exactly what sums up our number 2.
All right.
Boom, boom, Colt Cabana.
You fuck, we're so done here.
Well, I don't know. I told you I think I'm missing a big one.
Colt Cabana is on my list. He's on my list. He's my number 4.
I think Colt Cabana is everything that a comedy wrestler should be.
But knowing that there's one of 2 people that you left off your list completely for this is...
Well, I told you though. Let's
talk about Colt.
I did paraphrase at the beginning. I did paraphrase at the beginning of the list. My gut is telling me that I'm missing a big thing.
Yeah.
So I might be open to hear what you got to say, and then
All right.
But Colt Cabana, he fought for my number 1 spot as well. Just because again, like he is pretty much the definition of a comedy wrestler.
I'm not going to argue with Colt being high on your list. I'm not, because Colt's my number 4. He's one of the greatest. Actually, sorry, Colt's my number 3, but still, he's one of the greatest comedy wrestlers in history. And just like you said about Orange Cassidy, he knows when to kick it up. He knows when to put it into high gear and have a great match as well. So I'm not going to argue about his spot or anything like that. I'm just a little shocked knowing that there's somebody missing. If I erase that and take my emotion to that and just focus on Colt, of course Colt's on your list. Of course he is.
Yeah, he has.
It'd be stupid not to have Colt Cabana on your list.
He does such like fun things to make his opponents look stupid as well. Like it's just like slick little movements, like the way he's just maybe sticks his foot out and trips somebody or sets them up, and like he just does a lot of little things that are hilarious.
However, let's just say that going into your 2, I was less upset thinking you left Colt off the list than I am knowing that you left somebody else off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm looking. I'm interested to see what yours are going to be.
So one of 2 men have to be your number 1. Let's rip the Band-Aid off.
I ended up going with Santino Marella for my number 1. Oh,
he's my number 2, but could be interchangeable with my number 1.
So I don't even have your number 1 on my list. That's crazy.
No,
I'm excited to hear what you have, but let's talk about Santino first. I mean,
let's talk about Santino.
This guy is the complete package of a comedy wrestler. Right?
The
walk, the eyebrow, the talking, the Cobra, I wasn't ready at the Royal Rumble.
100%. I'm going to mirror something that friend of the show, Chris Van Vliet, said in an interview very recently. This man has had a Hall of Fame career.
Yes.
This man is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
And how cool is it that we can say friend of the show, Chris Van Vliet?
And Chris, the friend of the show, Santino Marella.
Also, yeah, we've had them both on the show. Correct.
Absolutely. Actually, not to brag, Chris, but we had Santino on our show before you did.
Yeah, just nobody listened to it. He told the same stories. And Eric Bischoff told his story where he cried on our show first, too. But nobody listens to it. So, boom. Stuck on that.
Everything Santino does, right up until that Royal Rumble with Del Rio, where he was still doing his comedy shit, but he was so over. And if he would have won that night, comedy gimmick or not, people would have been so fucking happy.
Even the next month at Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. When you're able to get a gimmick like that, that's so silly, when you're able to take that gimmick and get it over to that extent, you got something special, man.
Well, if you want to hear Santino talk about trying to make the boys laugh, go back in the archive and listen to our interview, not Chris Van Vliet's interview.
Exactly.
All right, I want to hear
All
your
right, that's
list.
it.
Let's
Very,
bang
very,
through your-
very deserving of your number one. Very deserving. I'm not going to argue that at all. I'm going to throw down my top 7 really quick.
Yeah, do it quick. Start at 7 because I want to see how different our lists are here. Because
my number 7 is a guy you probably haven't even heard of. Okay, he's a guy that one of the first comedy wrestlers I fell in love with years and years ago. It's a guy named Hard Gay Razor Ramon.
yeah, never.
Okay, Hard Gay, very, very big on the Japanese scene back in the early 2000s. Very fucking funny.
I thought you were gonna say Stone Cold ET.
Right. My number 6 is the Hurricane.
I thought about putting the Hurricane on, but he like only like a portion of his career was kind of comedy. You know what I mean? Like he did like the comedy spots, but even the Hurricane gimmick, unless he was in there with guys like Triple H or Austin or whatever, he wasn't really comedy in the ring for the most part.
I always liked the mild mannered reporter, the whooshes,
But that was like all backstage stuff though.
And then, but even in the ring when he would go, he did a comparable to one of my honorable mentions, Crash Holly. He would go up against the bigger guys.
Ooh,
like
Crash Holly, that's a good
he
one.
He could slam them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he didn't do a lot of
spots.
that though. Like he just didn't do enough comedy wrestling to put him on my list. He was more of a comedy character, which is a difference for me.
Sure. My number 5, local guy, Psycho Mike.
Oh, good call. I should have put Psycho Mike on my list.
My number 4, one of my favorites of all time is Grado.
I thought about Grado as well. I just thought the other guys were better, in all honesty.
My number 3 was Colt.
Yeah.
My number 2 is Santino. And my number 1 is R-Truth, dude.
R-Truth is a comedy character, though. He's not a comedy wrestler.
I think he's I think he's funny in everything he fucking does. And his last 3, 4, 5 years of even his wrestling is funny.
What does he do that's funny when he wrestles?
Just his actions, his movements. He puts that into his wrestling now, which is great. I think he's the funniest thing to happen to professional wrestling in every aspect in the last decade.
I won't argue that he's hilarious. I just don't think he translates his comedy into the ring very often. And that's a big factor for me. Like, if you want to talk about, funniest guys in the company, R-Truth is probably going to make my list every single time. The little Jimmy stuff, saying the wrong hometown, getting match gimmicks mixed up. But that's all promo stuff.
Yes, a lot of it's promo stuff, but I do find him funny in the ring as well. I do personally, which is why.
I don't. To me, he's just R-Truth, spin kick. Like he's just always a good hand in the ring, but he doesn't. I don't see him translate the comedy into the ring.
Yeah. Okay. I've got some honorable mentions.
I got a couple as well. Crash Holly, by the way, that was a good one.
Yeah, well, Crash Holly was my first honorable mention. Another one for me, the entire Dudley family, going way back.
Fair, yeah. Stuttering Bubba, yeah.
Yeah, the original Dudley family.
I
Dances
like that
with
one.
Dudleys, you know what I mean? This is just silly. They wouldn't make lists because they don't fit your criteria of being funny in the ring. But I put the Oddities.
Yeah, they were okay. They were kind of funny in the ring. They do comedy spots because that's all they really could do at that time.
Yeah, I also put the Headbangers. Again, I don't know if they were meant to be comedy wrestlers, but they were pretty funny.
They were funny characters, but like they just were brawlers in the ring. Like they didn't do a lot of comedy in the ring, right?
Yeah. What do you got for honorable mentions?
I got Danhausen.
Well, fuck Dan. I've got Danhausen written big in letters right here.
Yeah, I've got him as an honorable mention. Kamala could be an honorable mention when he did his babyface turn. He did some fun stuff.
Yeah.
I also had Grado, Hurricane. Yeah, that was pretty much it for me. Crash Holly, that's a good one though. He was fucking funny, man.
I just love the
I would put Crash Holly at my number 6 spot. I would take Yano off and put Crash Holly on my list if I would have thought about it. He's going on, Mike.
You still can't think of who you think you may have missed though.
No, I didn't miss. I don't know.
Is it Akeem the African Dream?
Oh fuck, that's that offensive or is that funny? I don't know.
Is it the genetic jackhammer Vince McMahon?
Oh God. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe I didn't miss a big one like I thought I did. You think I missed one?
Uh,
I, I
I
don't.
get your argument. I understand. I think you and I look at our truth in two different ways, and I'm not going to argue with you that if you don't see him in the same light that I do,
Well, I
it's your
mean,
list, brother.
he,
I'm not going to argue with you why he wasn't on your list.
I can't picture him at a number one spot. Like to me, Santino and Cabana and Orange like transition more comedy than maybe not so much Orange, but Cabana and Santino especially, I think would have to go above him.
Man, just one match for you to watch just to convince you to put Grado on this list. Colt Cabana versus Grado
Great match.
ICW's
Fear and
I want
Loathing
to say
4 or something.
was it Fear and Loathing? I thought it was like Suge's house party.
It could
But
have been House Party.
either or it's the match where they both get down on the ring and they start like peeing on each other like dogs.
Yeah.
Fucking gold, man. So
Yeah.
stupidly funny.
It's Goldman, Scotty Goldman. See what I did there? Colt Cabana.
Yeah.
To me, Grado though, like he's more of an entrance. Like his comedy comes out of the entrance to me, and not as much in the ring. Like still good in the ring, like good
Yeah.
comedy in the ring. I just thought the other guys did a little more comedy in the ring. The in ring was a big criteria for my list, obviously. Because if not, then we're we're putting guys like just funny people on the list.
Would Psycho Mike make your list?
I would take a look back and maybe find a home for him as well.
I think so. I think Psycho Mike's one of the funniest guys on the indies, and then he makes it work in the ring. That match we saw at Crossbody with him and Fuerza was
incredible.
One of the funniest, yet it was still a great match. This goes right back to
when he fought the dog was really funny.
Right. This goes right back to Puff and Ricky. Let's just choose their Christmas death match. It's one of the most entertaining matches I've ever seen, but funny as fuck.
Yes.
And it was a good match.
The Rover match was the same.
That shit all works, in the same way that this is why I think Psycho Mike deserves to have his phone on this.
I'd have to take a look again, and because like I don't know who I bump off for him. Like I don't want to bump Norman Smiley off. I already bumped Yano off for Crash Holly. Do I take Crash Holly off for Psycho Mike? I really like Crash Holly. Like I forgot about it. All that hardcore 24/7 stuff was hilarious, man. What about honorable mention the Mean Street Posse? Were they funny because they just get the shit kicked out of them every week?
I found them more annoying than anything else.
I like the Mean Street Posse. I just want to talk about them. Future list top 7 Mean Street Posse moments.
The only time they were funny, which one was it? Was it Pete Gas? It was Pete Gas. The time he was on what's it called? Edge and Christian's podcast.
Yeah.
He was driving in the car and they heard him rip a fart.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And they called him on it and he completely denied it, but it was so fucking audible. You could hear him fucking farting in the car. And the whole time, and they're ripping him a fucking part, and he's like he will not admit it at all. It's so funny.
I have one more honorable mention. For all the wrong reasons, Vince McMahon.
You mean the guy I mentioned like 2 minutes ago?
Vince?
I just said that. The genetic jackhammer, Vince McMahon.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that. I was probably just too busy laughing at genetic jackhammer to hear the rest.
No, Vince
is a comedy wrestler for all the wrong reasons.
Vince deserves to be talked about because he is funny. Vince likes his comedy in wrestling. Let's put that out there. Like Vince likes to laugh. Now his sense of humor is a little different than ours. Yes. The shit that he finds funny, I don't know if the rest of the world finds funny.
I just find he's funny for how bad he takes stunners and how shit his punches look.
But some of the shit he does is funny. Go back to that WrestleMania 19 match. I know him coming up over the fucking side of the ring.
Oh,
it's supposed to be. I know it's supposed to be menacing, but that shit's fucking hilarious.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. You and I talked about something off air, and I don't want to get into it, but it's not Eugene. Not like. I don't feel right saying that's funny.
This is a
but
really
he was very entertaining, and he played that.
Yeah, Dinsmore played the character he was asked to play very well. But here's where it gets tough. If it was supposed to be, at the worst case, an homage character saying, hey, let's try to do this character of a special needs wrestler. That's one thing that's still on the borderline, if not cross the line of being offensive. But if it is flat out a comedy gimmick, then that's extra offensive. That's he's making fun. I never felt like Nick Dinsmore was making fun of handicapped people.
No,
But I do feel that the WWE, by booking that character, may have been. So that's really hard. I couldn't go there on my list.
No, me too. When they first started that character, it was supposed to be inspiring, overcoming the odds, and they put him in big programs with big boys, and then it just 100%. Then it went downhill after that.
And he spoke to fans because he was that of an idiot savant, right? He knew more about professional wrestling than anybody. He rivaled the Fink for wrestling knowledge, and he came out and he homaged his favorite characters all the time by doing people's finishers and taunts and stuff like that.
He does have one of the
fans ate that shit up.
He has one of the greatest lines in Monday Night Raw history, by the way. Eugene, the segment where The Rock saves him from the coach. Okay. And he's like, who is the people's champ? And he's like, The Rock. And he's like, and who is the most electrifying man? And he's like, The Rock. And he's like, and who is your favorite wrestler? And he's like, Triple H. And he starts going like this. Yeah. And then The Rock's like, what? And the coach is laughing. And The Rock's like, what are you doing, man? Triple H? It's like, he likes to play games. Like,
it's so funny.
The delivery on that line when he yelled Triple H and The Rock, the look on The Rock's face was priceless. Also have another good little honorable mention that just sprung to my head.
Yeah.
Tajiri.
I wouldn't call him a comedy wrestler.
He went down the comedy road for a while.
Okay, so let's talk about Mick Foley. Let's talk about Kurt Angle.
You could talk about all those guys. I just said he was an honorable mention because they turned him into a joke in the WWE. They never presented him very serious for long.
Okay. So here's an honorable mention that I never thought until right now. We've got to talk about Kung Fu Funaki.
There you go.
Funaki was hilarious. The fucking Indeed shit. That was great.
You know what? Kai and Tai you could put there as well.
Kai and Tai wasn't supposed to be funny though.
No.
Well, not originally. Like that choppy pee-pee shit. I think they thought that shit was menacing. Like I don't think they were trying to be funny.
I know they're also 10 years too late on John Bobbitt, but that's a whole different story.
Well, fuck. I mean, they did an entire segment about the OJ fucking thing in 1997.
What about Goldust? Goldust
they did that in 97. Wrestler. I don't consider him comedy. Maybe later when he did that stupid Tourette's angle, but
there's another one. What's your take on William Regal as well? Because I know you mentioned Kurt Angle.
Okay, so if we're gonna if we can fit in guys like Mick Foley and Kurt Angle and guys like that, even Steve Austin, who have had segments of their career where they were really fucking funny, but that wasn't your list.
No, that's just wondering I want your take on
it. If we're doing a different list, if we're doing the funniest fucking gimmicks, William Regal's on there. 100% he's on there. The shit he did with Chris Jericho, the stuff like he was a great straight man, but at the same time, he got more laughs than the funny guys.
Yeah.
He was so fucking good.
The last question I want to ask you before we bring it home here, not by an in-ring standpoint, but just in general, who do you think the funniest person in the wrestling industry is?
Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Any other answer would be uncivilized.
I knew you were going to come at me with this. That's the only answer. There's no other answer to that fucking question. And I don't think anybody would give you another answer. Some people might give you, like, if you're in the business, some people might be like Owen Hart was the funniest guy because they knew him personally and shit like that.
Yeah.
But as a fan, as somebody who sat and watched the show week in, week out, nobody was funnier than Bobby the Brain Heenan. And I don't want anybody, don't be coming at me with your fucking Jerry the King Lawler bullshit either, okay? And I'll tell you why. Yeah, Bobby made every once in a while, Bobby made an off-color fucking joke because it was the fucking 80s and, you know, shit, whatever. But Bobby didn't go out to be shocking or offensive and shit like that. Bobby was just pure fucking funny. I feel a lot of the shit that Jerry said in the 90s was meant to be shocking or meant to be controversial, or he's just a fucking douchebag and believed all that shit. So either way, he doesn't make my fucking top.
We also
10.
forgot about an honorable mention, and that's Doink the Clown.
Oh yeah, let's give Doink his fucking flowers because you know Matt Bourne, man.
Well, Matt Bourne wasn't the funny Doink; he was the Doink.
No, you're 100% right.
Baby
so it wasn't
Matt
Bourne.
Yeah.
So Steve Lombardi.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, Steve Lombardi in general, all his characters had funny aspects to them. I don't think Brawler was supposed to be funny, but he was.
No, he was not. I do not like me some Brooklyn Brawler. Not a big fan. Not a big fan of the Brooklyn Brawler and his dirty ass band.
I would love to get Lombardi on this show.
I would love to talk to him. We can't afford him.
No.
Can
we afford Abe Knuckleball shorts?
No, we can't afford anybody. we can't afford anybody. Donate, everyone donate, give us money.
we're gonna start up a Patreon. We might get a couple cents every month.
There you go. I'm gonna start an OnlyFans where you can see Counted Out After Dark.
Hey, if Holden Albright can do it, we can do it.
He has a great name for his OnlyFans account. Have you heard it?
No.
Holden All Night. I think that's what it is. It's amazing, eh?
Love that so
Love
much.
Holden.
Is he showing his dick?
I don't know. I'm not on the OnlyFans. I don't have anybody's OnlyFans, but love Holden. I just listened to his latest podcast that he dropped today, and man, that guy just like he inspires me. He's the amount of like rawness and like just vulnerability that he's willing to put out to the world is something that I admire a lot, and it's something I want to try to work towards being better at myself. And man, I have a lot of respect for that guy, and he's really hardworking, and I'm looking forward to catching up with him later this summer. Yeah,
me too. I'm really hoping that we'll be in the same place at the same time at least one show this summer.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, to take you home, man, by the next time we talk, which will probably be in about 2 weeks, I really, really, really hope to have caught up on all my wrestling so we can be on the same page at the same time and talk some wrestling.
Yeah, Mike's suspended from next week until he can catch up on watching wrestling. You're suspended from Counted Out.
Exactly. And then the next time you and I chill in person will hopefully be at what's it called? Golden Glory?
Golden Glory 6. There will be a new Barry Wrestling Heavyweight Champion crowned when Tarek goes up against John Atlas, who goes up against Clutch Jesse V, and Alexia Nicole in a fatal 4-way match.
That is June 10th at Ferris Road in Barrie.
Day after my birthday.
Do not miss that. Yeah, do not miss that. And then, as you heard earlier in the show, check out our boys in the band Bilious. If they may be doing a show somewhere near you, anywhere in the GTA area. So check them out if you ever see them, if you like a good old punk show. And other than that, man, I think I am clear. I got nothing. What do you got?
Take us home, brother.
Hit that subscribe button, like, share, all that fun shit. And until next time, my friends, we have been Counted the Fuck Out.
Cheers.